this is Noreen from joyacards.com and welcome to my video. Hey, today we're making an easy version of the lazy days in this card. Now, I did a paper pumpkin alternative from a couple months ago using the back card background, and the big difference between these two is on the harder card, I used the foam adhesive sheets, and I backed the rails here and the rocking chair, the bird, and the birdhouse. That's what gives it that 3D look. But it's, it's quite intensive when you're doing those. But and also, if you don't have a paper pumpkin, they do make the paper pumpkin refill. Now, it won't be the big card like in the kit, but it does have these beautiful backgrounds, and these are available here. So, I mean, these cards are really, really pretty if you want to get some of these. But we're going to do just the easy version. And instead of the paper pumpkin background, we're going to be using One Horse Open Sleigh. Now, One Horse Open Sleigh is an online exclusive. Stampin' Up! Is doing those like once every 3 months or so. So we just had one release in July, and then there'll be another one that demonstrators can get in September and customers can get in October. But this One Horse Open Sleigh is killer, and the backgrounds are really good too. I mean, they're just beautiful paper. So we're going to be using the background for that as well, and I'm just going to put them here in my little folder. And let's go ahead and start. So we're going to begin with the card base. Now, this is a bigger card. I decided to make it an A6. Now, I just did a video on my card chart. This is something I did. I laminated, I printed it in nice and colors, and it has all the paper sizes, or all the card sizes here, from note to the regular 4¼ by 5½, A6, A7, A9, big slimline, mini, popular slimline, traditional, and square. All the shadow breakdowns, all the envelope, all the postage, and a whole bunch of information about the post office here. But, I don't do a lot of A6 cards, so I definitely use my own chart. So this is an A6. So I know the card is going to be a 4½ by 6¼ I'm going to need a card or a paper size of 6¼ by 9. So that's what this is unfolded. And I scored it at 4½. Now on the inside, because I'm not going to do a lot with the inside. So the inside, I took it down to 1/4 inch. So I go to 1/4 inch. So the red, the real red, is 4¼ by 6. And then the early espresso, I took it down another 1/4. And this is 4 by 5¾ And then I'm going to get the basic white down another 1/4. And I know this is 3¾ by 5½. So really boom, 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 easy. If I want to make other ones, I don't have to sit there and count on my fingers. You know what I mean? So I use this, and I go to joyacards.com/shop, and you can get one of these. So anyway, so that's what we did with the inside. And let's do a little stamping. I'm going to take this floor stamp right here and my early espresso and go ahead, and I'm just going to put some floor marks here on the bottom, just like so. Then I'm going to grab the plant here, and I'm going to stamp this in basic black. Now, if you notice, I'm not using a stamping pad here with my clear stamps. These are the photopolymers, and you usually need a stamping pad underneath, but I've got this nice glass, so I don't need to do that. So this glass is also listed in my bio there if you want to go ahead and get one. So that's what we're doing there. Now I'm just going to take my Stampin' Blends and color in the pot. The pot I'm using light and dark copper clay. I'm going to fill the whole thing in with the light, and then I'm going to do some highlights in the dark. And then for the leaves, I'm using Mossy Meadow. I'm going to fill them all with the light, and then I'll go over parts of it in dark. And just nail it inside, and let's move to the front. So I want to give the card just a little bit of a backing here. So I went to A6 and 1/8 inch, which is 4 3/8 by 6 1/8, and go ahead and put it on your card base. So from the One Horse Open Sleigh DS paper, you're going to take this one with a little gate on it. And the width is perfect, because if you look at the A6 on 1/4 inch, it's 6. It's 4 1/4 by 6. Now that red was 4 3/8 by 6 1/8. So the width we don't have to do anything about, but the top from the tree to the sky, I'm going to cut off 3/4 of an inch. So just like that. Now all we have to do is turn this around and go to 4 1/4. So I'm going to 4 1/4. I've got my chart here, so I'm not like adding things wrong, and cut the bottom like so. The next part, we're going to do a bunch of die cutting. We're going to go back to 1 horse open sleigh. And what's so great about this paper is the back sides are just as good. So there's 2 pieces of DS here that are wood. And I actually tried it with both, and I like the darker wood than the lighter wood. But you've got some options here on which one to use. So I used the darker wood, which has a little foxy on it. It kind of hurt me to cut on this one, but it's like, I did it. So I went ahead and I also observed which way the grain was going, and I cut the die with the going with the grain. So I'm going to cut one of these, and that will look like this. And then I'm going to, because this is just one side of it here, then I'm going to take this part of the die and cut a little bit more and get a second piece. And you don't have to measure it, because we're just going to cut them off. So cut 2 of those. So one with the post and one without. So here's the full cut piece. Now what I did is I wanted to position that post between these 2 trees here. So it's going to be like this all the way up to the edge. So we're not going to use this piece right here. So I'm going to flip this over. I got my silicone craft sheet, and I like using the Stampin' Up! Fine tip glue. I like it. I don't have any problems with it clogging or anything. And if you do, you could take out like a hairdryer to it. But I really like that. So I'm going to glue this up and stick it to the card. So I've got this piece glued, and I'm going to put that post in between that big tree and the little one next to it. And I'm going to line it all the way up to the edge of the DS paper like that. And now I'm going to take this side, and I want to do a little trimming. I'm going to just take off the very top 2 of these loops, and then leave that little piece hanging down and this little piece up, just so they fit better on the other piece. And then I'm going to pull this over, turn this over, and glue this up. So I'm going to take the part that I cut the little end off, and I'm going to tuck it right under the other one. And if you think you missed a spot, then just take your glue and just glue down that particular end, just like so. So we got a piece looking like this, so we're going to turn it over and take some real sharp scissors and just cut off the excess, and there's the top rail. Grab that same piece of the DS with the little foxy on the back and cut out 4 of these. Now I'm going to take these and I'm just going to snail them, because I'm being lazy, and there aren't all those little holes like this. This I would definitely glue. This you can get away with just snailing. And I'm going to tuck it, so you might want to lift up your rail here a little bit and push this under just so it doesn't have a seam, and run it across like that. And then I'm going to take another one and do the same thing on this side. I'm going to pull this up, match it up there, grab my fingernail, just get right under that. And then I'm going to grab another one, and I'm going to put it on this side right here and let it go off the edge, so we don't have to sit there and measure everything. And I'm going to go on this side, and I bet you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to flip this over and cut off the excess. And make sure before you cut that everything is lined up. Otherwise, you're going to be cutting another piece. So this one just kind of moved ever so slightly. So I'm going to flip this over and cut this off just like so. And lastly, take this paper again with a little fox and cut it with the grain here. Now this is 1 1/8 by 6. And I did measure it, but if you want to make it 1 1/4 by 6, that's even better, because I still want to flip that over and cut it off. So I'm just going to snail this and bump it up along the edge of the rail, just like that. And then I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to cut off this end. So I'm just cutting this off because we need to see that red that's on the base of the card, and you don't want anything hanging over. So if you want to do, like I said, 6 by 1 1/4, just to give yourself a little wiggle room. So now our card looks like that. Now, using that same One Horse Open Sleigh DS paper, we're going to take this one that has the light in the trees. It's so pretty. And we're going to take the rug die and we're going to cut out this one. Then you're going to take a piece of Daffodil Delight. And this is actually a throw. It's a blanket with this little teeny tiny die. And then take some real red and cut out the detail, because there's an outline of the rocking chair and a detail, and cut out the detail. And then just get a strip of white paper. On that strip of white paper, we're going to stamp "Home is where our story begins" in early espresso. And I cut it like this, and I'm going to bump this up all the way to the edge. I got to stick my head in the camera, hold it. And I'm going to bump it up in the corner. And then all I have to do is snip this off on my cutter. See, and you don't even need a die, so I just used my cutter. So let's go ahead and snail some stuff here. So I'm going to put the carpet right about here. Now I'm going to leave a little edge on the bottom and on the top so you can see the wood. And then take my rocking chair and place it on the rug, and then take the throw. Now I'm not using any dimensionals or anything. This is just the really easy one. I'm going to put the blanket on the chair. I'm going to take my sentiment and I put it right here in the rail. I thought that was a really good spot for it. And then just to give it a little character, I took my rustic metallic adhesive dots and I just put them, actually before I do that, I'm going to put this on the card base. So snail it up on the card base and just line it up so that red just kind of pokes out. Now I'm going to grab the dots and I'm just putting them here in the corner. You could really put them anywhere you want. That's where I put them. And if you could like and subscribe, put in any comments about what you liked or didn't like, or if you want me to do any kind of different kind of cards. But that will do it for me. Thanks. Bye.